Testing. All right, people. How's everyone today? We're doing good. All right. We're just waiting for a couple more people to show up. All right. Now, we're getting ready to do a little bit of talk about Donald Trump and Russia and this whole debacle. So, strap in. Because this is going to be a good time. One second. Okay. There we go. Okay. Let's see what's going on here. Okay. Can you hear me? I am totally live on the internet now. And the microphone is working. And we are here today to talk about Trump and Russia. And the thing about this Trump-Russia thing is that the news media and liberals are all over this subject because they feel that it is a way to attack Donald Trump, because they feel that he's extremely vulnerable right now and that he can be basically taken down, he can be impeached, and that they can use this as an opportunity to drive a wedge between himself and the American people. Every day they get on here and they say that there's a new item or a new something. They trying to drip this stuff out, and they continuously say that this is the way to get rid of Donald Trump. They're not even ashamed of it. These the liberals who do this stuff, they openly state that they just want to get rid of Donald Trump. So when they come out that clearly, you have to believe them when they say they want to get rid of him. And the fact of the matter is that they will say or do anything to try and reverse the results of the last election. It's not like they're content to say, okay, well, what we'll do is we'll wait for 4 years and get the man out. If this had happened to President Obama, they would have screamed racism from the top of Mount Everest. There's just no question. If anybody opposed any singular person, if one person opposed President Obama, they would have viewed it as racism, especially if the offending person was white. But the fact of the matter is, Trump doesn't have those types of protections, which is what makes it all the greater, his victories, because he is winning in spite of not being not being a protected class or a protected group. He wins in spite of it, not because of it. And for all the liberals out there who basically make it seem as though white males are a protected class, that white males are a group that have special privileges, nothing could be further from the truth. Not in this day and age. Now, perhaps maybe some years ago that might have been the case, but that certainly is not the case today. Years ago, you could have made an argument that things were far, far easier for a male if he was white. But nowadays, it's basically open season on white males, and the whole situation has been stood on its head. And now you can't say anything at all about a person if they are not white. But if they are white, you can just put 2 shells in the double barrel and unload on them. So the way it is right now, even though people are operating as though it is the exact opposite, it is not. Donald Trump has been winning and winning and winning, but he's been winning in spite of all the negative things that the press said about him, in spite of all the negative things that Wall Street has said about him, in spite of all the things that late night comedy has said about him, in spite of all the things Saturday Night Live has said about him, in spite of all the things that all these protected groups of people have said about him, Donald Trump continues to win. And this brings me back to the Trump-Russia hoax, because they feel that this is an area where he is vulnerable, and so they open up new lines of attack on him every day with respect to this issue. And he has continuously survived them, and he, although things seem to be getting bad, there's still the fact that the truth is on his side is about the only thing that's helping him. There is nothing to this Trump-Russia saga. And people say, well, how can you say that? Well, it's very simple. Okay, the weakest link in a chain is where the chain breaks. And they always focus on the strongest links on the chain. Okay, they say, oh, well, Donald Trump won the election, and therefore and the DNC got hacked, so therefore the Russians were attempting to help him. Well, that's, first of all, that's all circumstantial, and second of all, it's quite silly, because the weakest link in this chain is the link that no one ever discusses, which is that there is no actual evidence or actual methodology that the Russians ever changed a single vote in any single local election anywhere in the United States. And if that is not the case, if that did not happen, then the election is a free and fair election, period. And with that being said, why are we even talking about this? Well, it's because Hillary Clinton lost the election. Had she won the election, we would not be talking about this. That's just one more reason why this is all a hoax. Because if everything had gone off without a hitch, as planned, as they planned, that Hillary Clinton had won the election, no one would say, oh, she won the election, but, you know, the Russians tried to help Trump. They wouldn't even be talking about this. That's not even a question. There's no way that this would be happening. Now, that being said, you know, I talk to liberals all the time, and sometimes they text me, and we go back and forth on this. And just to show you how liberals think, let's just kind of go over this a little bit so that you can see more along the lines of what they think. Okay, so here's a situation where this liberal always contacts me, and if you can look here and you can see right on the screen, you can see what he says to me. He says, "Remember this day. This is when a scandal was uncovered, and a year from now during the impeachment hearing, people will be looking back at this moment." And obviously I responded to him, I have no problem doing this. I told him, keep on praying. And he says, Don Jr. effed up. And I just said, nah. You know, he said, laugh and eat cake now, for soon you will sick. This is really crazy the way he put this. Soon people will be back where you was. Outsiders living on farms. This is the way they characterize Trump voters, as just flyover country, people who can be ignored. Obviously, that's not the case, but this is the way they characterize us. And so I just told him, at this point, I was just trolling him. I told him this is fake news. I said, you said Trump would be impeached by year's end. Now he's changing it. Okay? And so he says, only thing fake is the man you follow, bro. And I said, your predictions are more fake. And he says, yeah, well, I have time on my side. Time and Trump. What a perfect combination. And I said, that you do, but I don't underestimate how big of a loser you are. Obviously, I was trolling him at this point, okay? And I told him I can't wait until next year. I absolutely cannot wait. Because the truth be told, these midterm elections, I personally believe that the Democrats are going to get trounced in these elections, because I don't see any way that they're not going to get trounced. Everything that Trump is doing, regardless of what he's doing, he's the president, he's got the bully pulpit, and he's actually doing good things for the American people. You cannot make a candidacy off of opposition to Donald Trump. You have to make your candidacy real, based off of some issues other than just hating the other guy, okay? And that's not happening. And as you can see, this guy here, he's, his whole thing is, he just wants to hate on Donald Trump, and he's saying, hey, I'm going to win just because you're going to lose. So anyway, so he says, I love it. Trump is the gift that keeps on giving. Now we find that there was 8 people at that so-called meeting little Don Jr. had. Too good to be true. And look at this. He's got balloons going up. And I said, well, let's see how it all winds up. I'm not worried about this even in the least bit. Okay? So finally, it winds up. He sends me this stuff, and he says, maybe I'll listen to Fox News. I'll listen to Fox News. I'll listen to any news. But I think for myself, and the fact of the matter is, Donald Trump has no record, no anything of collusion with Russia. All that stuff with Donald Jr., that's just water under the bridge. Yes, he did meet with that person, but it was not intended to be a huge collusion as far as them assisting Donald Trump. If they gave him some information, they gave him some information. But the fact of the matter is that helping someone and colluding with someone requires that they do something that is illegal, okay? And you would have to prove that Don Jr. asked them to do something illegal, which there is no evidence of happening, and no one has put anything on the table to date in this point. So, in conclusion on this, Donald Jr. Is being hammered right now in the media, and it's totally unjust, because even if Hillary Clinton had been in his position, in the reverse position, Hillary Clinton would have surely done what he did, and there's no question about it, because she already did do it. Okay, they colluded with a Ukrainian to try and bring Trump down. So the fact of the matter is, there's no questions whether she would do it, because she already did do it. All right. So, that being said, we can be rest assured that Don Jr. is in good company, and he did nothing wrong. And this too will blow over, and ultimately, Trump will be back on top in this situation. Thank you for listening. Go ahead, click on subscribe. Go to our website, isupporttrump.com, and leave your email address. We need to get behind Trump and support him in his effort to make America great again.